Is up, Rasmanites? That's right, as you saw in the intro, it is time for the 24-hour movie marathon 2013. You're hearing the H390 for this video or these parts if it ends up being multiple parts, because this is the same mic that I have to use for live broadcasting, so I don't have to adjust the volume level. So I figured it'd just be much easier on me just to do these videos with it on as well. Plus, throughout the marathon, you're probably going to see some hangouts on air with special guests, including this first one, because we are kicking the Merry Marathon off with the 1972 Academy Award winner for Best Picture, Francis Ford Coppola's The Godfather. So, real quickly, before I review the film, I forgot to mention that yes, you will see just the PS3 menu in the background for pretty much this whole thing, except for the one film I watch on cable. It's all about trying to be timely and efficient through this process. So, here now is my review, my mini review for The Godfather. What's up, everybody? Surprise! They hang out on air for this portion because, as you saw, I kicked it off with The Godfather, so how could I not have the mastermind and the sender of the film all in one himself, Ryan Chataway, here with me for this part. So, what's up, man?
Hey! Thanks for having me on again to talk about my favorite movie.
Absolutely. Well, I guess what I'm having you here for is to sort of like live get my reaction to my first proper viewing of this film. So all I can say is wow. Like, I can totally see what everybody was saying about the film, and I'm really upset that I never saw it properly till now, because this film, like, everything works. The acting, the cinematography, the direction, like, and the amount of risk involved in a movie, in the film, rather, you would never see that in a movie today. Like, you would never see a director with those kind of balls. Like, the one scene in particular, like, you were giving me a heads up about it as we were watching it in the hangout. This scene where a shooting is happening as he's being named the godfather of his wife's child. And, like, there's a killing spree intercut with scenes of a baptismal in church. Like, that is some insane stuff.
Yeah. It's just such a powerful scene, and it's just so funny the whole time. You're like, oh my gosh. He goes, do you renounce Satan? I do. So it's like, whoa.
Yeah, it was insane. And you know, even though for me, like I told you in the hangout, even though for me I kind of figured out what was going to happen, because they paid so much attention to Michael in the beginning as like the one Corleone that didn't want to be in the family, like, so it was kind of like a dead giveaway as to what was going to happen, like he was going to be sucked into it. But that being said, I had no idea just how deep it was going to be, and how that he would end up being the head of the family. And he is so dark and evil and sadistic by the end of the film. I'm like, wow.
And you haven't even seen part two. It just gets, he could become Satan himself. So I'm going to try to take care of that for you.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. That's the one thing I said, like, I didn't want to seem ungrateful to you, but that's the one thing I said after seeing this, like, God, I wish I had that 3-pack.
Yeah.
Because I need, especially doing this right now, like, how epic of a mini marathon would that have been? Like, the entire Godfather saga during this whole challenge.
Exactly. I almost did it for mine this year, but I'm just going to rewatch them pretty soon anyway. So,
well, maybe we could turn that into our own, like, little mini joint project. Like, when I get it, we'll just do our own, like, review of the entire Godfather trilogy.
Definitely. And you know what? with me, it won't even be a review; it'd be more of a praise, since they are my favorite movies. But it'll be
Yeah,
fun, anyways.
yeah. Well, is it true what people say about the third one? Is it kind of not as good as the first two?
Well, the first two were already masterpieces by the third one, and so the thing is with the third one is that Francis Ford Coppola and Mario Puzo, who wrote the novel The Godfather, and who helped co-write the Godfather movies, they were both kind of at a point where they needed money, and so they kind of at first only made The Godfather Part 3 because they needed money. And so right away you already know that the motives behind making the movie are are were different than the original movies. And so but my personal opinion is that I still love Part 3. I still give it, a 4 out of 4 star rating, but there's some flaws in it that everybody talks about all the time, and I still think it's a great movie. It's just not a masterpiece like the first two. And
All right, well,
like,
good.
it's kind
Good
of
to
like
know.
the ugly. It's kind of like the ugly stepbrother in a way, I guess you could say.
Awesome. Well, good to know. And hopefully I'll be able to form my own opinion about it. I guess I maybe shouldn't have asked that question before I saw the film. But anyway, thank you so much again, man, for this and for the challenge. And I got to get back to it or I'm going to fail miserably. So I'll see you all for the next film. What's up, guys and gals? It is 3 p.m. Eastern on March the 28th. I just finished film 2, which was Drive Me Crazy, starring Melissa Joan Hart and Adrian Grenier. Why did it take so long to finish film 2? Because, as you saw, for my review part of The Godfather, I had a special guest, so I had to end the existing hangout with people chilling out on Google Plus with me live and start a new one, and then for the hangout on there, and then start a second new one for just people hanging out with me on film, with the films. But thank you so much for this again, Tad. This still holds up really well. It's still my favorite romantic comedy of all time. The story of the girl who reaches out to the guy next door when she's desperate for a date to a dance that she puts together, and then they realize that they never really stop having feelings for each other and end up actually being together. It's a story you've seen 1,000 times on film now, but in 1999, when this was done, this was the first film to do it. And I just love all the actors and actresses in it, and I think it's just the best romantic comedy of all time. Well, one of them anyway. So, that is my opinions on Drive Me Crazy. I will see you guys in a couple hours with film number 3. What's up, everybody? It's currently 5:57 p.m. Eastern Time on March 28th, and I just finished film number 3, and that is apparently my case wasn't all the way closed. Sorry about that, but it of course is the Matrix Blu-ray Steelbook. So shout out to you, Marissa. What's up, Angel? Thank you so much again for the contest win on this. And I'm going to do a little mini Blu-ray review here because I haven't had a chance to post one and told her that I would. The transfer is absolutely phenomenal. No evidence of DNR or edge enhancement at all. Just a phenomenally restored film transfer. And the film itself still holds up as well as it ever did. I mean, the idea that our entire world could be a computer program is mind-boggling, for sure. So, yeah, that's it. That's The Matrix. And I still love all the lines from it. I love the acting in it, especially when, what's his name? I'll have to put it in overlay because my brain's farting, but when the guy turns and Neo is just like all in shock, I thought both Keanu Reeves and the guy and that other guy, they're tremendous in that scene. They really sell it well. And the whole thing about you take the blue pill, you go back to sleep. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. And the whole bullet motion that the Wachowski brothers created. I just love this movie, and the Blu-ray transfer is amazing, and it's just one of my favorite steelbooks now, for sure. So, thanks again, Angel. I might do a full on Blu-ray review of this later on when I get a chance to delve into the special features, because I honestly don't know at this point if there are any Blu-ray exclusive features that weren't on the DVD version or not. So if there are, I'll do a full review, but that's just my mini Blu-ray review and thoughts on The Matrix, having seen it again for the first time in a while. And now we're on to the final criteria that I can fit into day one, because it just hit 6 p.m. as I'm filming, which means that I have to stop at 9 in order to, or around 9, close to 9 as I can get and still fit the film in order to be ready to go to bed when I need to be ready to lay down, because I can't physically do it myself. So the final criteria that we are fitting in day one is going to be the film you have zero interest in seeing. So what is that film? Well, I'm not going to spoil it, because the pure torture and anguish on my face that you'll see in a little bit will be worth the suspense, trust me. And there's the Blu-ray Steelbook right side up. Yeah, I'm an idiot. I didn't realize I was doing that, and so after I already had done it, and the mini review is still good, so I'm going to keep it. But yeah, there is what you were supposed to be seeing that whole time. Sorry guys, sometimes you forget that you don't want to put it right side up to you, you want to put it upside down to you, so it's right side up on cam. Alright, Raspbernites, it's 9:03 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That means it's the end of the 12 hours for day one. And the film that I chose for the film I had no interest in seeing was about the only film I had access to that fit that criteria via Netflix: Transformers Dark of the Moon. And quick plot synopsis. In this one, there is a tie-in to the moon landing in the 1960s, and it turns out that it was all a secret mission to find this alien piece of technology that was on the moon that ended up being a Autobot who was sent there for safekeeping. This Autobot ended up being another Prime named Solus Prime, and he ends up betraying the Autobots, and so it's all about Optimus versus Solus and saving the planet. And on the human side, it's about Sam being frustrated because he's being treated like a nobody, and he can't find a good, decent job after getting out of college. Sorry, I don't know why I was holding the headset cord there. But he can't get a decent job after getting out of college, so he ends up finding out what's actually going on, that the Decepticons have returned to Earth, and everything sort of falls in place from there. So it was typical Michael Bay BS that had nothing to do with Transformers lore, and it was full of crappy CGI and horrible camera work, and it was painful to watch. That being said though, out of the three, this to me was the most entertaining because it had an actual plot. Like there was actual point A, point B, and point C in this Transformers film. So while I don't feel that it saved the Transformers live action franchise, I do think it's the best effort in that universe that they've ever had. Despite the fact that the girl that they got to replace Megan Fox, I agree with my boss, Mark Flores, she couldn't act her way out of a wet paper sack. It was god awful. She was hot, but that was absolutely her only redeeming quality. But That being said, there was a surprising amount of humor. There was some good one-liners that made you laugh for about 30 seconds. And like I said, it actually was a fairly complicated plot. Like, oh my god, there's another Prime, and oh, Megatron's in for it now, but the other Prime turns on the Autobots and all of that. So it was actually a pretty entertaining plot, but it had so many other things wrong with it, and it was such a non-Transformers film that nothing could save it. Not even the legendary Leonard Nimoy playing Solus Prime. So, bottom line is, I watched it because it was a criteria for the marathon, but by the end of it, it's still one big thumbs down.